What up, guys? James from Bolt Bros here. Just want to recap week 3 in the loss versus the Steelers. Kind of a lot of the losses that we got out of that game, which is huge for us, especially going into week 4 versus the Chiefs. So we'll give you a little preview on week 4, and let's just go ahead and get into it, guys. Bolt Bros, let's go. Bolt Bros! Once again, guys, appreciate all the love and support. Please like this video, subscribe to this channel if you've not. We'd love to be able to hear from you in the comments below, too, about week 3. I know we've had a lot of conversation about it, obviously, in our post-game show and in the comment section in our videos and all of our social posts and such, too. Man, it's a tough one. It's a tough one in a lot of different ways for us. We basically got outpunched, in a sense, in this game. We were swinging, but Steelers were landing a lot more blows onto our team. So not good all around. And the big thing about it is that hurt us the most here is Justin Herbert walking out of his presser after the game in a boot. Now, once again, during the game, or actually I should say before the game, Jim Harbaugh told Herbert, if you see any signs of limping, you are out of the game. And, when he basically got hit and landed upon, and I'll show you kind of something here with Cameron Hayward. For whatever reason, he hates Justin Herbert and likes to be able to inflict pain on the guy. Once he basically showed limping, he was out of the game. They pulled in Taylor Henneke, excuse me, and pulled him in. And, it didn't bring in Easton Stick, which is an interesting development. Now, Justin Herbert's saying that he's still going to see how it works out this week. Personally, my opinion, you know what? You were going to aggravate that ankle one way or another. A couple sacks basically made things happen and changed things out. You hope it's not going from a grade 1 high ankle sprain to a grade 3. That's going to be a long running type of situation to try to heal that ankle. You hope that's not the case. They say the x-rays are negative. Once again, you're dodging 2 bullets at this point. And Justin Herbert essentially has had now 3 injuries already in this season, and it's all on that right leg for some reason. If it's a plantar fascia situation to now his high ankle sprain, plus now even a worse high ankle sprain potentially at this point. What do you do about week 4 at this point, guys? Like, where do you go from here? Week 4, kind of, you think a little bit, yes, it's a big game against the Chiefs, but you want to go into a bye week knowing that you're not going through a lot of hardships with this team with injuries. Going back to what I was saying about Cameron Hayward, I mean, this ain't the first time that we basically have seen him, go after Justin Herbert. Obviously, this is the article that we talked a little bit about the x-rays being negative and such too. He's fine at this point. But guys, Cameron Hayward has gone after Justin Herbert. Remember when he punched him in the stomach in 2021? That was kind of an interesting thing. Whatever it is, this guy does not like Justin Herbert for some reason. And it's kind of a frustrating thing to see this where for whatever reason, he wants to find a way to be able to get rid of one of our own guys. Now, he didn't even get penalized for this punch in the stomach in this game. We still beat the Steelers at 41-38. I believe that game. Justin Herbert had an absolute game on him. And it's weird to see this. It's weird to see that we got a guy that just does not want to see Justin Herbert on the field. It's very tough for us to be able to see that because obviously he's our guy. Like, he is our guy 100%. Now, just thinking about what happened within this game, there was a lot of issues that happened within this game, with injuries. Obviously, Joe Alt went out, Sean Slater went out. Your 2 edge linemen, your 2 tackles, essentially, who are your absolute studs and definitely major important positions for us. Slater went out with a pectoral situation. Alt went out with a leg situation. It's not good. And essentially what you saw here in these stats, Alex Corza kind of highlighted it. Second half offense versus the Steelers Sunday, 15 plays, -5 yards, 1 first down, 2 completions, sacked 5 times, sacked 3 of the final 4 plays. Obviously, there was a lot of change there. Pipkins to the tackle didn't go over well. It's two sacks given up immediately after that. Even without Herbert for a part of that, a level of the dominance you've never seen at this NFL level. Steelers outpunched us essentially at this point. They landed a lot more blows than we did. And to be honest, some of these blows could be very major for us. Justin Herbert's ankle situation's only getting worse at this point. we're essentially going to be limping into the bye week after the Chiefs game at this point. So where do you go from here at this point, guys? Like, what I'm going to pose a question to you guys. What is your thoughts about what's going to happen here for next week? Do you feel like you just want to say, hey, Herbert, sit it out? Basically, kind of just don't play against the Chiefs. We'll give you 3 more weeks basically to kind of get that ankle right. So you'll be fresh and ready to go for the Broncos after the bye week. I want to hear from you guys. Now, we did a social media post on our YouTube channel just about this too. And it was interesting to be able to see. This is actually a post talking a lot about like Justin Herbert, showing that he's got the boot on his foot. A lot of people said here, Andrew Fernham says, sit Herbert down for the Chiefs games. Then we have a bye week, so it's almost 3 weeks. When we play the Broncos, let Herbert heal. We still got a long season ahead of us. Let it rest till bye. It's not worth throwing our chances in the playoffs. Sit Herbert as far as it goes. No Herb, no playoffs. Totally get it. Totally get it. Pretty much everybody out here is like saying, hey, look, I would not start him. The Chiefs are going to come after him, right? And, the Steelers basically are a high physical based team, and we got out physicaled. If that's correct, if that's the right way to say it, I don't know. But it's not to say our defense didn't play well. Just once Justin Herbert went down, it just seemed like the team got deflated at that point. And how can you not? Not having your number one guy out there, not having your quarterback out there to be able to cook. And he was cooking, man. He was absolutely cooking this week. And it's a frustrating thing to be able to see that, guys. And it's frustrating to be able to see that we were looking good. We had that game kind of in our grasp, but, we got deflated after, the injuries started piling up. Alt, Slater, Justin Herbert, it just shifted from that point, guys. And once again, the way our mantra of the team is be physical, punch them in the mouth, be able to run the ball, control the clock. Also Justin Herbert to be able to cook and let him make some passes too. There's a lot of things out there that you kind of just worry about what came from that game. Now you're going to go into another game. It's a big, big game against Chiefs, another division game, a game that you would want to be able to find a way to win. And it's going to be at home in SoFi. Big game, guys, right? And it would be big for us to be able to beat the Chiefs. At this point, it's going to be tough if we don't have our 2 tackles and Justin Herbert. It's going to be very, very difficult. So what I basically wanted to point out is that, watching the game last night against the Falcons had a couple times where they could have found a way to basically beat them. There was obviously no PI called on one of those end zone attempts that Kirk Cousins threw there. Chiefs got the call once again. And there was a lot out there that kind of made me think, as long as our defense holds the Chiefs to where they need to be, as long as our defense finds ways to get turnovers, because, it's not like the Chiefs aren't beat up either, too. They got, Isaiah Pacheco's out, too. They don't really have their running back. They've been running Carson Steele at this point. Samaje Perine. Even to say that, they still found a way to run 128 rushing yards. Steele had almost about 75 yards. I think it was 74, 72 something yards. And Mahomes still does Mahomes things, 217 passing yards, total for 345 total yards. Still did fine, still did things well. They definitely evened out with the amount of penalties, 6-6. Sacks allowed. They had no sacks against Patrick Mahomes. It's going to be a tough game always against Patrick Mahomes, but the Chiefs tend to like to play these close games all the time. And there's a lot of refs that tend to like to throw out a little bit of, no calls out there every now and then. It's really frustrating to watch. I think even Raheem Morris even got asked a little bit about the refs too. And he said, and not making some calls. He said, hey, I like my money. Basically, he doesn't want to get fined at this point, like for saying anything. It's frustrating to see, guys. It's frustrating to see the Chiefs get these calls. But hey, once again, I'm not here to complain. We're just here to play football and hopefully get a win at this point. So what I'm basically posing as a question to you guys, Chiefs got a lot of things in front of them that could be, there's guys that are going to be out and everything too. Hollywood Brown is another guy that they don't have, but at the same side, they got a lot of guys out there that are a lot of speedy guys for us. Do you sit Justin Herbert against the Chiefs at that point? Now, that's a question I want to hear from you guys on this. Now, I'm just going to show you guys one other little screen here just to kind of give you an idea here. This is kind of, and what's going to talking about the playoffs so early is kind of ridiculous. But at the same side, NFL is chess, not checkers. It's basically make the smart decision to look ahead versus basically making a decision that's going to just be for the now. You got to think ahead at this point. It's a long season. We're about to go into week 4 at this point. We're about to go into our bye week on week 5. The thing about it is like, look, we got a lot of situations here where there could be a very big cog of 2-1 type teams at this point. Chiefs obviously being 3-0, us being 2-1. Let's just say we kind of essentially say, hey, don't put Herbert out there. You know what? Personally, I don't feel that you should put Herbert out there if we don't have Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt out there. It's going to be dangerous for him out there. You don't want to agitate the injury further at this point. But you think about ahead. Raiders just lost to the Carolina Panthers. Broncos ended up having a game against the Bucs, which was crazy to see. Maybe they're starting to cook. Who knows? I think things with the Raiders might get a little bit dicey at this point. Steelers being 3-0, Ravens being 1-2, finding a way to get a win. Browns 1-2, kind of downward trend at that point. Bengals being 0-2. They're playing tonight, so we'll see where it happens from there. Texans could basically find a way to be a 2-1 team or 2-2 team next week. Colts could look at the same point. What I'm basically saying is that there could be just a cog at a lot of 2-2 teams. Even if the Chargers do not find a way to basically get a win, there could be a cog of a lot of 2-2 teams. Like Dolphins are going to struggle at this point. They got quarterback issues. Jets, they could be a 3-1 type team, so they could kind of be in the lead. Bills playing tonight. We'll see where they end up going at that point. So either which way, there could be a cog of a lot of 2-2 teams. And so what my point is, you want to make sure you think down the road at this point. You want to be able to think, hey, look, let's not make our crown jewel basically be in a situation where, hey, he could basically get more injured and we could just be without him all season if he gets even more injured at this point. Bye week is kind of going to be a very good healing week. I hated that we got a week 5 bye week. I hate that we have such an early bye week, but it almost like makes sense at this point. And it makes sense for what we got going on injuries at this point. Maybe getting this team right, maybe getting Justin Herbert's ankle right might be the best solution to not play him next week. Now, I want to hear from you guys about that. Do you want Justin Herbert to play next week versus the Chiefs? I'd love to be able to hear from you on your opinion on that. So once again, like this video, subscribe to this channel if you've not. Once again, guys, James from Bolt Bros. Let's go.
Hey, what's up? Cameron Dick here watching Bolt Bros podcast. Let's go.
Charged up, Bolt Bros on the night.